We good?
Council meeting April 17th, 2018. Yes.
All right. I will open up the tonight's town council meeting for April 17th. I have a volunteer for the pledge. Where's my guy? Hello. You're up, man. Let's go. We doing this? Gotta move quicker than that. All right, Xavier. On three. Ready? 3.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. You're up, Twyla.
Roll call. Councilor Albert.
Is excused for tonight. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
He's on vacation. Need a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Order passed 6-0.
Thank you.
Councilor Colby.
Here.
Councilor Brunel.
Here.
Councilor La Rochelle.
Here.
Councilor Ward.
Yes.
Councilor Lund.
Here.
Councilor Crawford.
Here.
Doing a fine job. Moving right along.
Under Good News and Recognition, Order 2018-77, the proclamation recognizing the Lisbon High School Drama Club. A motion to adopt the proclamation as presented, which reads, whereas Lisbon High School Drama Club had a very dramatic and successful year, 43 students were involved in the classic production of Sweeney Todd in October, which had 3 sold-out performances. Theater arts classes and independent costuming class began working on the one-act production. Oh, I think our guests have arrived for the one-act production from the drama club, right? No? Okay. The importance of being earnest in September. After completing a formal analysis of Oscar Wilde's original 2-hour play and many hours of research, the 35-minute version was ready to be cast in December. Countless hours were spent in rehearsal, building and painting the sets and creating costumes, whereas on March 10th, the Lisbon High School Drama Club won the regional competition for the 3rd year in a row and went on to states in Rockland. Regional Festival All-Cast Awards were awarded to Bradley Harriman, Gage Wright, Kiara Bouchard, Jeffrey Schamberger. Special judges commendations were awarded to Ashley Green for lighting and Kiara Bouchard for costume design, whereas on March 24th, the Lisbon High School Drama Club placed 4th out of 9 schools at the Maine Drama Festival State One-Act Competition. State Festival All-Cast Awards were awarded to Bradley Harriman, Gage Wright, Emily Chase, and Alex Cole. Special judges' commendations were awarded to Kiara Bouchard for costume design and the entire cast and the crew for outstanding ensemble. Now, therefore, we, the Town Council of the Town of Lisbon, on the 17th day of April 2018, would like to congratulate these students for their outstanding achievement. Well done. Need a motion?
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed 6-0.
Do we have anybody accepting on behalf of drama tonight?
We did mention it to Miss Fox, and she had a prior engagement. She thought she would be able to
Yeah, and I know
find
at least a
someone.
couple of the cast members are in Canada with the visitation trip too.
True.
So
Well,
I've been seeing that this week as well. So let's just make arrangements to get it to the school and take it from there if we
we
could.
shall.
Thank
Okay.
you. Next item.
Oh, yes. We have one item not on the agenda because it typically is a surprise each year. We have the dedication for the town report. We'd like to present you with this year's town report. There are a few copies here. And we'd like to read our dedication if you don't mind. So this year's town report is dedicated to, make sure that we can hear. I know some are watching. This year's town report is dedicated to William A. Bauer, serving the citizens of Lisbon from 1977 to December 26, 2016. William Bauer, known to many of us as Bill, was elected in 1977 to the Water Commission, replacing his dad's seat on the Water Commission. He served 40 years, most of which as chairman. Bill was always looking for ways to improve the delivery of water to residents. He recently explored the idea of building a new standpipe on the ridge in back of Upland. He served the community in many other ways too. As a teacher in the Lisbon High School system for many years, he coached track, participated in project graduation, and taught night school, to mention a few. Bill enjoyed spending time at their camp on Taylor Pond. golfing, snowmobiling, boating, and traveling. He and his wife, Peg, hosted many gatherings for his family and friends. We thank Bill and his family for lending him to us and for his many years of service to the community. He will truly be missed. Do you have anything to say?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Yes, let your
And my
mom know.
mom said that she was very sad that she couldn't be here tonight. So if
Yes.
it's being broadcast, I think she said she was going to try to catch it. But I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
You can visit it anytime our website and see it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Twyla.
I just have one thing. Tracy and I went over to the AvCog General Assembly last week, and we accepted the Business and Economic Development Award for the facade program. So we've got this nice award that we were presented. And also, we were also recognized by Bruce Poliquin. We've got something from him, and also from Angus King's office, Senator King's, as well. So, and I have to tell you, being over there with all the professionals that are part of AvCog and all the different communities in Androscoggin County, everybody is aware of what's going on in Lisbon, and they're amazed at what's going on at Lisbon. It's noticeable around this area, all the economic development that's happening. So they were really pleased, and they thought the award was well-deserved. And I just want to say special thanks to Tracy, because she's really worked hard on economic development here in Lisbon.
Thank you both. Anybody else? Absolutely, sir.
Just wanted to make a note that last weekend myself and Diane was able to attend the fire banquet, yearly banquet, and I just want to give a thank you out to the volunteer firefighters. They actually put on a really good banquet every year. They kind of go over the years, what's happened over the past year, and one of the things they did bring forward was the idea of every year their counts of service and calls keep going up, and seems so their volunteerism sometimes seems to be, fading back a little bit, so they're doing more with less. I guess that's kind of the theme of the world today. But again, I want to say thank you for putting on the banquet. It was a great opportunity to see what they do, and they're still a pretty proud family of firefighters. So I think they're doing a great job.
Thank you. Anybody else? Next item, Twyla.
Under public hearings, the vitriol's license for Jason and Tyler Laverdiere doing business as the Flex Restaurant.
I'll open up the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on behalf of the item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Moving right along, Twyla.
Open up the vitriol's license for Easy Mart doing business as Extra Mart.
Same. Anybody wishing to speak on behalf of this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing.
And C, the vitriol's license for Walter Morse doing business as Walt's Place. I believe Mr. Morse is here.
Anybody interested in speaking? Mr. Morse? You good? Right on. I'll close the public hearing.
Okay. And the next is a vitriol's license for Richard George doing business as Subway.
Anybody? I'll close that public hearing then too. Next.
Next is the public hearing for the amendment for Chapter 70 zoning ordinance, Division 13, District Uses, Section 7531, Table of Land Uses.
I'll open up the public hearing. The information's in the packet if you don't have it. Anybody wishing to speak on behalf of this item? Seeing no movement, I will close that public hearing as well.
Next item is the audience participation and response for agenda items.
Anybody wishing to address the council for any item on the agenda tonight, please step forward and announce who you are. No go there too. Let's keep moving.
The next is the consent agenda, Order 2018-78, to approve the municipal accounts payable and payroll warrants, number 110 for $21,833.22, number 111 for $1,000, number 112 for $163,086.81, number 113 for $27,896, number 114 for $17,826.40, number 115 for $105,305.97, and 116 for $2,305.68, and the school accounts payable and payroll warrants, number 27 for $58.88, number 28 for $180.08, number 1052 for $349,936.75, number 1053 for $13,197.35, Number 1054 for $319,427.10. Number 1055 for $29.84. And number 1819 for $84,347.19. The workshop minutes of March 27th, the regular minutes of April 3rd, along with the victuals licenses for the Flux Restaurant, Waltz Place, Easy Mart, doing business as Extra Mart, the Subway, as well as the Memorial Day Parade, street closures, and the CMP poll permit for Mill Street.
I need a motion.
Make the motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Any traction on making that less winded for you?
We did speak with legal, and counsel said the entire motion needs to be read in order for it to remain a freedom of access and public information. And
Fair enough. Fair enough. Then we'll leave it at that.
Need to keep them sized to the point where she can breathe.
Right. It's just, guys, just keep an eye on her. I see nothing on the left. Remember that.
Nothing.
And all those in favor?
She goes flat. That's not going to be cool. All in favor.
0.
Next item then.
Council orders, ordinances, and resolutions. Order 2018-79. Set the date for the TIF workshop.
Do you have a suggestion?
Yeah, either May 1st or May 15th, and if we could start at 6 p.m. Either day works for the attorney, and I believe they're going to be coming back with a credit enhancement agreement at the same time.
Which is what we were timing to be able to make it
Right.
convenient for them, right? Are either of those dates something we're already here for?
Yes.
Their regular council meeting nights.
Now, this is the attorney for Dingley, right?
Right.
Yes.
So, does anybody have any issue with doing that on the May 1st then? Or a preference on date, let's put it that way.
I would pick May 1st if you had a choice. The 15th, I don't believe I'll be in town, but
Let's do
that could be either or. I mean, I'm not saying you judge it upon me, so
Right,
I'm just
right.
stating my point, but
I asked for a preference, so I've heard May 1st. Anybody else?
May 1st.
Either one's fine with me.
works.
May 1st,
Okay,
6 p.m.
perfect.
Order 2018-80, the efficient delivery of local and regional services grant.
Tracy will speak on behalf of that.
Good evening. Tracy Stuber, Economic and Community Development Director. In your packet, this grant came across Diane's desk and come to me, and in doing some looking into it and contacting the state to see if it was something that we would qualify for and be eligible for. And this is something that has been around for a while. I'm not sure if folks just didn't know about it and weren't applying, and that's why they making more of a push in getting the word out there. But it is for efficient delivery of local and regional services. And what it is, it's the opportunity for municipalities to collaborate with other municipalities and come up with ways of providing efficiency and services to help with the tax rate. And that is during the budget process. So when I contacted the state, one of the things that came to my mind when I was looking at this was to look at the EMS. EMS is something that's come before the council to have on the budget. It is something that the council has not had into the budget. It is going to be a direct impact on the taxpayer of Lisbon. So I'm looking to get permission to, there's no dollar amount in that regard. I'm looking at 5 years projections of letting them know what the cost is going to be to the municipality, working with Bowdoin as well to get the same cost. And go and see from there. So they don't really give you a limited amount, so I'm putting in everything that is being requested of the town for here as well as Bowdoin in putting the application together. They hope to give out multiple grants, but again, they're not given an estimation of dollar amount on what that means for a total, so I'm going after everything.
And there's no match.
There is no match to this, exactly.
It's a no-brainer, right? Go after it. And
Not that I want to do another grant after just submitting one, but this to me made sense. And by calling the state and saying, look, would we qualify? Would we be eligible to put in for an application on this? And
So you're hearing no, that we're no reason why we're not eligible.
that is correct. because we haven't funded the EMS service, so
Right,
and that's
right,
what it is. Because this is something that hasn't been in the budget, it allows us to be eligible.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Order passed 6-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the
Okay.
grant is due at the end of the month, and my goal is to deliver it next Thursday on the 26th. So it's due the 30th.
When will you hear back?
They didn't really give an estimate on that, but if they're looking at it for budget purposes, I would say probably within, June.
Okay.
Because again, the idea of this whole grant opportunity is to give some relief to the taxpayer.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Next item, Twyla?
Order 2018-81, the letter of agreement between Androscoggin Valley Soil and Water Conservation District and Lisbon and Sabattis.
How we doing?
Good, how are you? Steve Avioli, Interim Public Works Director. This agreement is something that the Androscoggin the Androscoggin Stormwater Working Group contacted the Androscoggin Soil Water Conservation District about seeking help to reach the education and outreach portion that is a requirement of our MS4 permit. And at the same time, in year 5 of our permit, we're required to do a survey of basically how well we're doing with the education outreach over the course of the 5-year permit. This will be the first one we've done. Once this survey is done, in 5 years we'll be required to do another one to gauge how many changes we make after this one, how well they work for everybody, for the communities that are in the Stormwater Working Group. And this survey is actually will be done by Bates College students, which actually offers a great savings to the town versus paying our consultant to do this work for us. We're looking at a cost of about $690. The total cost is $1,380, and that cost is shared between us and Sabattis, because we're going in this together with Sabattis. Lewis and Auburn has already signed on their own to do this.
Any reservations? Any questions? Please.
Now this survey, do they just go out to the general public and ask questions of who actually knows, or is that done to the municipality, or?
It's the survey. It was actually a lot of the groundwork is being done by the Bates students. We will be required to send out some mailers on our end, because most of their work is going to be done in the Lewis and Auburn area. And we basically work together as a group and try to work together with those other communities to implement all the same practices they do. And so, the same information that they're going to get from other communities will be of benefit to us, because we try to do everything together. All the information that's put out and the information that's gathered is done the same way, using the same practices.
So the education part of it is similar that we see with the blue ducks painted by the stormwater drains, that type of stuff.
That's part of the outreach, is that'll be happening first or second week of May this year.
Okay.
Well, after our unsuccessful bid to get out of it, we might as well join forces and be able to work with others to spread the cost around.
Yeah,
Any other questions of Steve, guys? I need a motion.
Make a motion.
Need a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Order
Thank
passed
you, sir.
6-0.
Thank you.
Next item, 12?
Order 2018-82, transfer of town-owned vehicle, Police Department.
Good evening, Mark Hagan, Chief of Police. This year, the Police Department's vehicle replacement plan included the removal of a 2009 Ford Focus from our fleet. The vehicle has just over 70,000 miles on it, and the rough Blue Book value is anywhere from $3,500 to $5,300. So our initial intent was to do a closed bid process to sell the vehicle. However, Public Works and the Sewer Department have expressed an interest. Acting Public Works Director Steve Avioli has suggested that they might be able to put the vehicle to use between the two departments. So it really doesn't matter to the Police Department, and we're asking you how you would like us to proceed.
Go.
Question. The couple questions is, what would be the intent of the car? Is this actually, if the Public Works and the Sewer Department was to get this, is that actually replacing a vehicle that's already there, or is this an addition to their fleet? I mean, I'm just curious if this vehicle is going to be a supplement or actually a replacement of a pickup truck for fuel economy for going train. I mean,
It would be in addition to what we currently use, and it would be mostly used. Right now, I would actually be using it myself instead of a pickup. That would give that pickup back to Public Works to be used by the crew there. But at the same time, for future use, to be used going to trainings and such, where you can fit more than two people in a where you can fit two people in a pickup, fit four in a car to do it. And I think it'd be a good option for us. Moving forward, the life cycle, how long we plan to keep it, is I couldn't tell you right now. Thinking about longevity.
You said questions.
yeah, and what is the department using right now for trainings? Are they using one of the regular pickup trucks? I mean, is that what they're doing as far as for traveling?
Correct. Yes, so you're using pickups, or at times, depending on vehicle usage, you're using their own vehicles or paying mileage.
The question I had, come back, Chief, I guess. We talked, when we put this in motion last year for the budget, for where we're at, it was my understanding, where do we stand with the code enforcement vehicle? That was supposed to be one of those. Is that also?
Yes, that should be coming back. Our new vehicle will be put on the road. They're in the process of stripping what will be the code enforcement vehicle
Right.
this week, and hopefully those will both be back this week. We'll have the new vehicle on the road, and we'll be turning over the
So
code
instead of
enforcement.
getting rid of the two vehicles, we're looking to reuse them somewhere in the pipeline.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One other question, Chief,
Sure.
while you're there, now this was initially a detective's car, right? Pretty much, is that what it was used for in the past?
Detectives, and I've been in it as well, yes, sir.
Is this just one that's actually being excluded from the fleet, or is that something that's this vehicle being replaced with another one? I'm just, because there was two of those, I think, when they were originally purchased, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
so you might have been involved in the refurbish of one of our old cruisers that now is in the detective fleet.
Okay, that's actually going to be going
Yep.
in, okay.
Yes, sir.
So basically, it's not a vehicle that's actually being removed from the fleet, it's just being replaced with something else?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
we're taking one of the old cruisers that was on the road, and we're going to continue to use that, but we've stripped it of all its lettering and overhead lights, and now we're putting that to replace the Focus.
We're actually year 2 of the plan to go with a 2-1-2-1 to put two vehicles in the primary. That odd year would be the one, and then moving stuff to a secondary. So trying to address that, we put the money to fund balance to be able to address it, to get us off from the 3-year lease payments and just budgeting within the police department what they need to be able to save the cost of the interest. So
That other four-door sedan like that one, is that something that will be coming out within the next year or so? Is that one still in service? I'm not even sure if that one's
Yes,
still in service.
the plan right now is then once we hit July 1st in the new budget year, we'll remove that one and either replace it with the next utility vehicle that comes offline, or there's been some requests about getting something different that doesn't necessarily look like a law enforcement vehicle.
Which these fit to that bill for a while, right?
Yes, yes.
They blend right in down the local shop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern is just the idea that the car would actually be, it would serve a practical purpose, that's all. You hate to see another one added to a fleet and then just have it. It doesn't seem like it'd be a vehicle that everybody want to jump into in the middle of a winter or during stormy season that they would want to drive every day, that's all. But
The current vehicle that I'm using, I am taking the keys out of it so no one takes it on me, so I have it when I need it. Everyone's trying to use it on occasion, and that's the only way I can ensure I have it without putting mileage on my vehicle 3-4 times a day.
I mean, if it makes sense and it's well thought out, I have no problem with it. It's just the biggest thing, is just making sure that it's going to for good purpose.
I might even go down that line. We're a community that's small enough to be able to, if you put it in the PW fleet and you're not actually at a training and it's sitting, it's available for anybody within the town for training purposes. I mean, I know we've talked with the library and people within this facility as well. There's a vehicle versus paying somebody the stipend rate when you've already got the vehicle in service.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Right there.
I'll second it.
See, I saw you. All in favor?
6-0, order passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, 12.
Ordinance 2018-83 to amend Chapter 70 zoning ordinance, Division 13, District Uses, Section 70, 531, Table of Land Uses. This is the final reading. A roll call vote is required.
Okay, you guys saw the table last meeting we went through. We just had the public hearing. Any other questions on content? I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Now you, Twyla.
Yep. Counselor Colby.
Yes.
Counselor Brunel.
Yes.
Counselor Lunt.
Yes.
Counselor Ward.
Yes.
Counselor La Rochelle.
Yes.
Counselor Crawford.
Yes.
We have 6 yeas, 0 nays. Order passed.
Thank you, Twyla. Next.
Order 2018-84, the warrant for June 12, 2018, the school budget validation referendum election.
Okay. What do we need to do specifically for this one again?
To approve the warrant at
Just-
this point. Yep, and the ballots will be printed, and they will be held in our office until after the council approves the school budget. And so on the 15th is the date that you'll be taking a vote to approve that school budget amount, and on the 16th, the ballots will be available for absentees.
Okay, so basically we're setting the meeting date right now, and then once we know the number, and take it from there.
Mhm.
I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Order passed 6-0.
Next item.
Order 2018-85 to authorize the bid fuel oil.
This is just authorization to allow me to go out to bid for the fuel oil. I'm not going to do it right now because we need to figure out what we're going to do with the library, and Dennis is working on that, and he may want to do heat pumps. If we do that, it's going to be electricity. Therefore, I don't want to be bidding the oil until we have that figured out. But once we do, then I can put it out to bid.
When did we do it last year?
We didn't do it till the fall.
So the intent is to be less into the fall when the price starts going up,
Mm-hmm.
but giving you the flexibility that you don't have to bring it back and
Exactly,
forth,
yeah.
so when it makes convenient.
I would do it now if it wasn't for the library still being up in the air. But I didn't want to forget about it, so that's why I have it on the agenda.
Yeah, and you and I have talked on this, because I had written down some numbers. Right around the 1st of March is when things bottomed out in the gas and diesel commodity. 250 was where diesel seemed to bottom out. 263 is where it is currently. I'm sorry, that's gas. Diesel, $3 is where it bottomed out. It's about 307, so you're going to see it increasing. If I was to hit the next forecast, if it holds true to the last couple of years, last couple of weeks in June, it'll start going back down before it starts hitting back up. But yeah, by all means, you're just looking to actually get the authorization.
That's it.
I need a
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Order passed 6-0.
Next item.
Order 2018-86, Parks and Recreation Maintenance Position.
Did you eat?
Still in my car.
Go
Who
for
are
it.
you?
You got the floor.
Who are you?
My name is Mark Stevens, and I'm the Parks and Recreation Director. And this is kind of a recap of last workshop we had, where I presented my budget to the council. I answered quite a few questions, and one of the things we spoke about was attaining a full-time position for the maintenance department coming fiscal year 2018-19. And I stated that that would be much needed now, and not July 1st. And I've been working with Diane, and she's been looking at some budgetary numbers, and looks like we're able to provide a position now full-time without possibly going over this year's fiscal budget.
This sounded like a waffle.
Sound like a waffle?
Yeah. Would like possibly not? Could you be a little more positive? Are we going to go over or not?
I don't think we are.
That's what I needed to hear. See, that was much better. That wasn't a waffle.
The worst case scenario on the budgetary would be about 8,500 versus 5,500. It depends on who goes into the position, whether the part-time goes away shortly. It all depends on who goes into that position. It could be a cost of $5,500 or it could be a cost of $8,500. We think we have enough in the budget, but we want to wait till year end and then come back to council. If there isn't, then that would be the time to designate something from unassigned fund balance. That's if you want to fill it before year end.
Do you?
Yes.
You wanted it done yesterday. I guess by the sounds of things, it's not a question whether money's there, it's just where you find it and how you appropriate it and when.
Right.
So
Yep.
the question is on this is, I mean, it's pretty much looking for council to give permission to move forward with that.
Right. And you feel confident that total exposure here potentially be 8,500. My question was, what does that do with the temporaries that are currently filling that need now? Is it just designating somebody full-time, or does that still have that other part coming from the temporary people?
We have money in the budget
part-time.
for 2 40-hour-week seasonals. That's money in the budget already.
Yep.
The question that I have, or that I think maybe you're asking, is the person that's working
Right.
regular. Okay, that person that person would be needed for training. So there's going to be some crossover. So right now, I'm not saying what's going to happen with that position, but it may be needed for the next 5-6 weeks for training.
Okay. The reason I was asking is that the switching of the gears and everything else actually costs you as well too. So you've already taken that come into effect. The effect is the 5-week transition is what I'm hearing.
Right. That's true.
Yes.
I'm going to say, I think we discussed it pretty well at the workshop. Mm-hmm. Too bad you couldn't have been there. It was a good time. We were thinking about you the whole time. I would make a motion that we give authorization to move forward. If they can make the money work, make it happen.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Might want to stay there for the next discussion, Mark.
Which is Order 2018-87, the Lisbon Center Cemetery discussion.
So we've been approached to take over the Lisbon Center Cemetery. By state law, we have to maintain the veterans' graves. We don't have to accept the cemetery. We don't have to own it, but we do have to maintain the veterans' graves. So I don't know how we would do those without doing the rest of the cemetery. So I guess at this point, I'd like to know how council wants me to proceed. We really should have a survey done because that's quite a large cemetery. I don't believe there is a survey on it. Or we have a map that says survey, but it isn't a map of the whole entire cemetery. And then we would have to do a deed. There is very little money in perpetual care, under $1,000, and some of that's going to be spent. But it is going to be a burden on the rec department to maintain that cemetery. But like I said, we are obligated to do the veterans' graves.
Go.
If I may, is there anything help from the state at all on that? I mean, I know it's mandated, but they mandate you have to do it, but they don't actually allow you any opportunity to get funding for it.
Those unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
It's in your neighborhood. You take care of it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we don't want to grow out. I mean, does the grant show? I mean, it'd be nice to know what actually is included with that or what's not.
No, that's
I mean,
not. That's a separate piece of property.
It is pretty much overlaying it in a sense. I mean, my concern, or again, it's more to do. I mean, that's actually if you look at the cemeteries in town and you look at the people maintaining them, I watch the one next to me on Main Street all the time, and they're there, a couple days a week maintaining that. It's not just a once a month type of thing. So, Diana mentioned that there's potentially maybe 100 open lots in there.
This is a active cemetery.
I would actually think that part of our plan would be the idea of work with the local people that actually sell those type of things and actually make
Shop it, absolutely.
Actually, yeah, just make sure we try to generate some money to make this kind of offset somehow. I mean, I'm not sure. I know Mark doesn't hang a sign saying
Marketing
that plots of sale.
cemeteries.
Yeah.
But, it's not my wheelhouse, but I'll do my best.
But we do actually have someone in town that actually, that's part of a large group that,
yes.
Potentially I would be marketing to. I mean, I guess that's going to have to be part of the plan, is the idea of not just maintaining it, but trying to actually run it and try to generate some funds somehow.
My concern is that this is a trend going forward, and we need to find out where other cemeteries are and what their perpetual care balances are, and if they're healthy or not. I mean,
what's the liability associated with the perpetual care? How did we get to less than $1,000, and is that reasonable?
That's a good question. I mean, some of these plots. I mean, I was looking at them today in 1700s. 1780s and 1800s. I mean, before the Civil War. Farnsworth. I mean, the names that you're talking about, the mills in the 1930s were, named after. And then on the back side, we have Korean War veterans. We have, Vietnam veterans. And I'm sure, just like the Davis Cemetery, we have Civil War veterans up there. So I think we do need to take care of it. But I've heard some comments that it was going to take one person 4 hours to do. There's no way that, I don't know how that person did it in 4 hours, but it goes at least 200 yards back. It's on the narrow side, but it's
a lot deeper than most people would think if you've never pulled down in there.
it goes down quite a bit, almost a tenth of a mile. So a lot of real estate down there. And when you're talking about stones being up like this, we can't get our Exmark mowers down there. It can all be hand cut with a push mower and weed whacking. So it's going to be an event for sure.
Yep, and like you say, there's, where do you
stop? Because, the next cemetery that comes along that nobody wants to take care of anymore, and there's a few of them out there. Then you get another one, then you get another one, then you get another one.
How many do we presently take care of?
This is our fourth one.
Are the other three active still?
Two inactive, one active. This will be our second active one. Yep.
Who would have thought that you'd be getting in that business when you signed up for this, huh, Mark?
Real estate agent. Basically, I'm selling land to people.
So are you interested in acquiring it then?
I would. There's a fine line. You're not going to get away from the veterans' care associated with that, but taking over perpetual care for the entire operation, I'd like to know what that actually means before we get into that.
And maybe do an assessment, like Diane said, have an assessment.
And I don't know if it's, a survey is going to encompass that. What is the expenses that are actually driving that for that cost? I mean, I know when we started this the first year we were on the council, we did a discussion of perpetual care, and we had High Street folks come in, and they were talking about that and talking about what that fee meant and where it went. You call it by definition perpetual for a reason. The fact is it's supposed to be self-funding to be able to address that piece, and clearly we're seeing that that isn't the case.
No. And you can't spend the principal. You can only spend the interest.
Right, which these days is none.
It's nothing, that's
You're
right.
looking at a point at best, and depending on what you're actually getting.
The more to manage it than you get from interest. Now on this particular lot, I mean, and again, I know the one that was on, when I was on council last time on Littlefair Road, it was brought to us by the owner saying that they were just old enough that they couldn't maintain it anymore. And that one was financially somewhat, a little bit. Now this one here, I mean, who actually owned it? Who actually owns it now? I mean, is there a particular reason why? I mean, I was just curious if it's actually, why they would actually be turning it over, or if they just feel that. Is it locally owned, do you know, at all?
The association, I believe.
Association?
Yeah, it's a Lisbon Center LLC or something like that.
So it's not attached to a local church or anything at the point in time?
No. Not to my knowledge.
Yeah. You would just wonder that there would have to be some type of statute saying, you'd have to meet a certain criteria before you would actually turn them over, whether or not. I mean, if not, why wouldn't everyone just turn them over, right? They're full, hand them away, collect the money, and then next day you turn them over. It just doesn't seem like it's fair, but what is, right?
How many veterans' graves are in this new one?
I didn't count them, but I just driving through there, I noticed there was quite a few. And I don't think you're going to find a cemetery anywhere that doesn't have veterans in it.
No, I'm just thinking, like, how many are in the other three?
Well, I know Davis has a lot.
Okay.
And, I mean, I can't give you a percentage because I have no idea, but any other two that are inactive, those are probably the oldest cemeteries, and those have quite a few too.
It doesn't really. You have one or you have 100. It doesn't matter.
No, I know. I'm just thinking.
It's still there. Yes, sir.
As far as time-wise.
Right.
I guess it does sound like very much an option, but I think we ought to do our due diligence ahead of time to see exactly what
are we inheriting,
and if there's any other concerns that come along with it. Not that we can refuse it, but at least we could actually make sure that we're not taking on something that's, something that we just don't know about. As far as for, what other boundaries, and if there's other, easements through there, and if there's other people that have rights to it. I mean, I guess you'd want to know all that stuff prior to.
So the Grange is a separate building, is my understanding, correct?
That's what I understand too.
I'd like to just know more about that before we actually inherit liability beyond what we have to actually take upon.
They have spigot and stuff in there.
They did, but I believe the service has been shut off for some time because of the fact they can't maintain. A lot of them haven't been turning them back on because they can't maintain their infrastructure.
Right.
So as soon as you turn them on, it's
Ferry
like its
Road
own
and all-
its own sprinkler service.
Self-watering.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But there's a service to that land.
Yeah.
We can get more information, or somebody at least come to actually give what they know. That would actually be beneficial to hear
Yep.
firsthand.
That'd be good, yeah.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Mark.
Mark. We'll
Alright,
keep
thank you.
asking more and more, but unfortunately, I mean, the same thing with the fire department. There's more demand, but less people, which and less funding. It seems like it's not really a fair process. But thank you.
All right, thank you.
He was rescuing dogs at 5 p.m. True story. Next item, Twyla.
Order 2018-88, set council workshop to discuss Celotex property, May 24th.
This is the joint workshop with the town of Topsom. May 24th works better for them. And I thought maybe where it's a council workshop, we might want to do it at 6 o'clock, just in case there's a planning board meeting. And I suggested it be here.
6 p.m. here.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody opposed? Do it. Motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed 6-0.
Could I make a recommendation that prior to that workshop, we just have as much documentation as we can, so we're well rehearsed on what was and what is and what can be, and it'd just be nice that we actually have as much information ahead of time.
As we can get out in 60 seconds, 60 minutes.
Agenda,
Yeah.
what we plan to actually accomplish.
Yeah, I'm not sure what type
The
of
meeting that I
documentation.
just left with Mark, the fact is that taking possession of those two pieces of property, that is not what I want to see on the agenda. But that's already been said by somebody locally.
What's taken possession of what? The,
Two pieces of property to be able to address it.
oh,
That wasn't even where we
No,
were
I
at, is
know.
to be able to address with working with the existing owners at this point in time.
Yep.
So what are we hoping to accomplish as
okay.
two,
Yep.
so we have flow?
Just
Absolutely.
just some history of what was done and why things were done the way they were, and if they met the requirements. Just
Yep.
I mean, it'd just be nice to have some history on it going in, so we
Right.
know what we're talking about, I guess. If nothing else.
Clearer picture.
Next item,
Is under other business, council committee reports.
school. Anyone? We're gonna say moving on. Planning board, Don left. Was anybody at the last meeting? I'm sorry, I was out of town.
I was, yep. And it was a good planning board. They actually had a discussion about tonight's, just going back on the validation, not on the validation, but the marijuana moratorium. Just refreshing that, and there was a couple cases brought forward. And typical planning board fashion, they actually had a good discussion and went into a workshop after. And I don't think there was any big
Controversy.
bright
just
lights
moving
or
on.
anything, just typical business, yep.
Water?
I went to the Water Commissioners meeting. I don't have my sheet in front of me because it's somewhere in my big binder from the other night. Their next meeting is being held on May 8th at 5:30. I don't recall anything that's sticking out of my head that I think I need to report, but if I go back and pull it out and on the 1st, I'll let you know.
Appreciate it.
Otherwise, that's what I got.
Thank you. Conservation, I just left that tonight. They were talking about forestry management, Beaver Park, their goals, how the budget went from their perspective. Got into a discussion associated with Beaver Park passes. The question is there any ability to be able to encourage them being sold here within the department, or how actively do we do that? I know that they are purchased here for the season pass, but do they actively ask the individuals when they're in the building? I use that example because this is the place where the dump passes and the Beaver Park passes are issued. I know we had the discussion associated with at least dump passes that if people aren't checking, are we at least asking that they're being sold? Or is it a slippery slope for the fact that we're not only not checking the expenditure side of things for what we're tipping, but we're also not getting the revenues for what should be covering it. And that same discussion
We can
played
do
out.
that. We can
It just
have the girls
reminder,
say,
just
just say, you know, we have passes available here
For
if you're
both.
interested. Yeah.
appreciate it. And
Maybe have a sign out.
Yeah. I think
yeah,
that's
just
your
anything that
Have you got your
encourages.
Beaver Park pass this year?
You know,
Doesn't take much sometimes to get people
not-
encouraged to go.
We can
Yeah.
put it out on social media too.
and that was where I was thinking associated with that, and primarily it's got to be a lot easier than the honor system box that sits at the gate that people can just drive by. I just like the front end where we have the resources better equipped for it. Next, it would be recreation. Anybody?
I unfortunately spent the day in the hospital that day at the meeting.
Ah,
So.
fun.
Okay. County, we got nothing. Library, sir.
I have nothing to report.
Town manager.
They started on Union Street today. So Ranger is in the area. Late this afternoon, I received an email from Western Maine Transportation. They would like me to send a letter of support again this year. They're applying for MDOT grant funds. It needs to be in before the end of the month, so I'm not going to be able to get it on the agenda for you. So if you have no problem, I'll send a letter of support on behalf of the town of Lisbon
Please,
for grant funds.
please.
That's all I have.
LDC.
Thank you, sir. Skip over us for any particular reason. We had a great meeting. The group actually is really actively looking at up in the village area, and one of the themes last time was, you know, anything that we do up in that area, whether it's improving the bus stop or the sidewalks, is kind of the theme that they were looking at was our walking trails and connecting our two downtowns with a walking trail. I mean, it actually is now in a sense, but I think anything we can do in that area to actually bring that to a point where thinking that someone actually could park in Lisbon Falls, walk safely all the way to the other village and get onto that downtown, you know what I mean, and actually be a connective, because we always talk about the two villages are very much separated in downtowns. But if you think about it, we actually have a trail system now that connects the two. And if we can just kind of, I guess, two things. One is actually make it safe in that area, so when you get to that Memorial Bridge and come across it, you can get into the village area, which it kind of is now, but if there's any way we can actually improve the sidewalks and the other part of signage, just letting people know that they actually could
Keep on walking.
keep on walking. That's right. If you walk this way, you can actually get downtown village, and as more things happen down in that village area, it's I mean, we talked about this as we were kids. You didn't have a lot of sidewalks to go different places, but think of a child actually taking off from Lisbon Falls and walking all the way to Lisbon on a safe, well-marked sidewalk to actually go in the village and do stuff in the village, which is actually kind of cool. So it's not really a new idea, but it's just the idea. It's kind of one of those things where, you know, if we can actually bring that out, it may actually help with the plans on what we do in that area to try to emphasize the idea of, you know, healthy America, you know, park in Lisbon Village and walk to Lisbon Falls, and along the way you can stop and have an ice cream, you can go out to eat, you can get your hair cut, you know, what else can you get done these days? Pretty much everything else, right? So a lot of neat stuff. So encouraging, not the idea of just safe walking, but the idea of actually trying to promote our businesses along the trail. So and Cheryl was there, and she actually is really pushing for, again, she's organizing a cleanup on Main Street. Last year she did it, and she was there with her and her husband, and I think one other person. So this year she's really pushing for more. So again, it's just every meeting we always bring up some good stuff that hopefully is going to help the you know, the economic and just the idea of development in Lisbon. So feel free to anybody that's interested in joining. Our next meeting is going to be, I believe, hopefully be posted on our website, and we're going to be doing a walk around in the Lisbon Village area too. I don't have that date right now, and I apologize for that, but I'll make sure it's actually work with Tracy, make sure it's on our website so you can actually have it. The reason we didn't have a particular time, because it all depends if the planning board actually had something that night or what time we were going to do the walk around. But we'll have it posted. So our next meeting is going to be in the village, just kind of walking around, taking a look at things and seeing if how we want to try to help improve stuff. So a lot of stuff happening, so stay tuned, and good things coming.
Cheryl's cleanup date.
28th. It's a
Is that
Saturday. Yep.
Saturday the 28th, and their meeting, the location is downtown. I just
Downtown, yep. Anywhere's downtown. She says bring your brooms and shovels, and she's ready to paint the town down there. But Cheryl's pretty active when it comes to the idea of trying to make things look good. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
Next item.
Is department head written reports.
Any questions on content? Seeing none, moving right on. 12.
Under appointments, Order 2018-89, the Lisbon Development Committee of one regular member for a 3-year term to 2021.
I didn't
And
see who it was.
that would be Eric McTevier's term. That is up. He'd like to be reappointed.
Is he willing to stay?
He is.
There we go. There's our huckleberry right there. I need a motion.
Make a motion.
I need a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Order passed 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Mativier. Next item.
Council communications.
Anybody got anything? No? Next item then.
Is audience participation for new items.
Anybody wishing to address the council? Where did everybody go? Exactly. Next item then.
Is executive session, Order 2018-90 and 91, to go into executive session per 1 MRSA Section 405-6A Personnel Matters and 405-6C Acquisition of Real Property or Economic Development.
Will we be coming back?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be recessing.
Oh, we can stay here.
You can stay here? You guys can go home. Thanks for playing.
Who makes the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second? It's right there. You're doing a fine
Ms.
job.
Crawford. All those in favor? 6-0.
Thank you.
I'm getting good at that.
You might want to turn that back on. Are you a lead or a finger pointer?
Oh, just kind of a talking head. I like to hear myself think.
You're supposed to wear your grounds like
I was trying to figure out what is this.
live.
You have the floor, sir.
Okay. I make a motion to confirm the appointment of Nate Leclerc as fire chief with a salary of $70,000 per year with 3 weeks of vacation.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. 5-1.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? We're out of here. Thank you all.
This cemetery stuff is actually concerning. I mean, I watch those people who do the Catholic cemetery next to me, and they're there like for 2 days out of the week between mowing and trimming. To do it right, you know what I mean? To do it right, you know?
Correct. They care more. More people,